came out.
It's funny because I walked up into the audience and there was about 66,000 Australians there, and just coincidentally they played Down Under as I walked into the crowd. It had nothing to do with me being there, but I just happened to walk into the stadium at that particular time, and this Australian guy turned around to me who had, he was hammered, and he just looked at me and he kind of looked at me and he listened to the song and he goes, how does that work? He couldn't kind of get around the idea that he was hearing the song and I was standing
right there. Cool. Very cool. Very cool. Well, in recent years, a TV show, Scrubs, was one of those that kind of brought you maybe to a new generation of people that maybe didn't know you and brought some new fans into the fan base, the Colin Hay fan base. Talk about how the Scrubs thing happened, if you would.
Well, Zach Braff, I got introduced to Zach Braff by, I think it was Chad Fisher, who's my closest friend in Los Angeles. He's about 15 years younger than me. And I met him in '93, and we've worked together ever since on various projects. And he knew Carey Brothers, I think, who is a recording artist and was on that soundtrack also. He's a friend of Zach Braff. And so they would come to see me play at a place called Largo in Hollywood, where I play all the time. And before he was in Scrubs.
Okay.
So I remember him at a party saying, I've got this gig in this television show and I'm going to be the star. And I thought, more power to you. So he said, I'm going to take your CDs in and see if I can get them played, So he did that and brought the guy, Bill Lawrence, who created the show, down to see me play. And he became a fan. He said to me, why are these songs not on the radio, these new songs? I said, that's a good question. I've got no idea, really. He said, I really think they should be. He said, I'm gonna use a bunch of these songs in my television show, see if it makes a difference. And that's what he did.
Wow.
So he licensed about 7 or 8 different songs and made a huge difference. And which was amazing to me. It was quite affirming because you think to yourself, is it me? Am I the one who's kind of like, constantly knocking on doors trying to get people to play the stuff and they don't do it? And you think, well, maybe it is. Maybe it's not that good, And then somebody comes along and says, well, I'm going to expose this and see if people like it. And then when millions of people like it, you go, oh, I was right all along.
Yeah.
One person kind of helped. It's amazing.
Yeah. Well, go ahead.
So anyway, that's what he did, and I guess it can kind of. I was in a coffee shop in Springfield, Illinois, and there was 2 guys behind the counter. One was 40 and one was 20. And the young guy looked at me and said, "Oh, I love your music." I said, "Oh, thanks." He said, "Overkill's my favorite song." And I said, "Oh, thanks." And the older guy looked at him and said, "You know who that is?" And the young guy goes, "Yeah, he's in Scrubs." And the older guy goes, "What's Scrubs?" He was in Men at Work. And the young guy goes, "What's Men at Work?"
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So that kind of sums it up. Where I'm at.
Well, would you mind playing Overkill? Because
Sure.
that was just a great.
I need to quickly. Oh no, I can. I know what dead radio time is like.
This particular song was the really focus of that one episode, and you showed up several times throughout that episode.
He became a bit obsessed with Overkill. Bill Lawrence, the guy, he wrote the episode was called My Overkill.
Right.
I was happy. There's no problem with it.
We are in the studio here at WGWG with Colin Hay. Colin's new CD is called American Sunshine. He is performing in Charlotte tonight and Wilmington tomorrow night, Carrboro on Sunday night. So if you get a chance to check him out, please do so live. Colin Hay in our studios.
Nice bit of musical accompaniment in there.
I like that. I like that.
You want to hire me? Very, very expensive.
Really? Well, the big guy back here has got some good money, so we'll see what we can do for a jingle.
I can't get to sleep. I think about the implications of diving in too deep, and possibly the complications, especially at night. I worry over situations I know we'll be alright. Perhaps it's just imagination. Day after day it reappears. Night after night, my heartbeat shows the fear. Ghosts appear and fade away. Alone between the sheets only brings exasperation. It's time to walk the streets, smell the desperation. At least there's pretty lights, and though there's little variation, it nullifies the night from overkill. Day after day reappears, night after night my heartbeat shows the fear. Ghosts appear and fade away. Ghosts appear and fade away. Ghosts appear and fade away.
Colin Hay in our studios here at WGWG. Colin, man, beautiful. Thank you so much.
I'll leave the last high verse till tonight.
Okay. Saving your voice just a bit. What else would you like to share with any of our listeners out there about Colin Hay and the Colin Hay Experience?
Just a pocket full of my favorite tales.
All right, well, share a favorite tale.
No, I'm actually very happy with anything you want to talk about. But I don't know about you, but I think we've done pretty well, don't you?
Yeah, this has been a great time. I appreciate you taking the time to be with us here today, and a lot of our listeners actually sent in some questions, and I think we've covered most of those as well. Yeah, we actually put it on Facebook, said, what questions do you have?
Cool.
There were a few that we're not going to ask you.
I'm
not going to ask you on the air anyway. We might save that for later. Colin Hay.
I'm kind of intrigued now.
Yeah. Colin Hay, our guest today, right here in 88.3 WGWG in Boiling Springs, North Carolina. The new CD, American Sunshine. We're playing quite a few of the tracks.
I appreciate that too, by the way.
And we've been playing your stuff since your solo CDs have been coming out. So going back to Looking for Jack, that is one question. Looking for Jack. Was that really about Jack Nicholson?
Well, it was inspired by Jack Nicholson. I was in Los Angeles, and I had the music for the song, and I had Looking For, because the thing was that when I was in LA, it seemed to me that everyone in Los Angeles was looking for something. They were there for a reason, looking to realize their dreams, and I was too, but I couldn't quite. I was thinking, I didn't have anything to hang the song on, like a physical representation of that, if you like. I was looking for. I kept on walking around going looking for. And then I was at a concert, and I was standing by the mixing desk, and I saw Jack Nicholson standing there, and I walked up to him and I said, "Excuse me, Mr. Nicholson. My name's Colin Hay. I used to sing in a band called Men at Work. I just want to say I'm a great big fan of yours." And he looked up at me and he said, "I can't hear you." And I got a little bit embarrassed, and I walked into the green room, and I was standing there, and I was talking to 3 or 4 really beautiful girls. Like, I'd worked with one of them, and they were particularly, angelic and gorgeous, and the green room door opened, and Jack made a beeline straight for me and said, "I just want to say I'm a great big fan of yours too." And so I felt elated,
Right.
and then he walked off, and I was the girl was still talking to me, but I was looking over her shoulder, really distracted, to the point where she said, "What are you doing, Colin?" And I said, "Oh, I'm sorry, you'll have to excuse me, I'm just looking for Jack." And she said, "Yeah, everybody's always looking for Jack." I thought,
very cool.
Thank you very much. I have to go now.
Well, Colin, thanks so much. That's a great story about the Looking for Jack CD back in '97, I think is that right?
Looking for Jack was 86.
86.
87.
87. I was off by
I recorded it in 86.
Okay.
Came out in 87 and disappeared in 88.
Colin, thanks so much for taking the time to be here and to spend time with some of our folks here at the studio.
At the stadium.
Stadium.
Yes. You're not very many people you realize, but this radio station is, in fact, in a stadium.
In the stadium, yeah. Inside Spangler Stadium.